The Spider-Man Homecoming trailer has dropped, and this week has been an incredible week for trailers. We started it off with Guardians of the Galaxy, then it was The Mummy, then Transformers, then it was Baywatch, and now we get the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. And I'm going to break it down for you guys, let you know what I thought, what I found, maybe some theories in there, so let's get started. So the trailer starts out with basically showing, hey, we're in New York, Queens, I think, and there's a bank robbery going on, and Spider-Man has to stop it. And the guys who are breaking into this place, they have the Avengers masks on. They have Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and Captain America masks. And I love that line where he says, hey, you guys aren't the Avengers, and I can tell by Hulk. He gives it away. He's having fun with his powers and taking care of business. And that's nice to see. I also love how he catches the one guy's elbow and shoves his fist into the other guy. That's just a good, fun part of that scene. After he stops them from taking the money, that he's just like, whoa, that was cool, I did it. And he says that was awesome, but I like that about his character. He's still amazed at what he can do. But now we're getting a closer glimpse into the life of Peter Parker as a high school student. And I'm interested, but I feel like we've already gotten that in The Amazing Spider-Man. That wasn't a great movie. It was okay, but we know he's in high school. I don't want a high school drama with Spider-Man as the backdrop. He's also kind of being a little bit creepy about talking about this girl that he clearly has a crush on, him and his friend. And they're just staring, talking about her top and then her skirt. It's like, it's a little uncomfortable. I do think Tom Holland, though, is going to be a really good actor. I'm excited to see how he can handle this character on his own. Obviously, he's going to have some scenes with Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., but I'm excited to see how he does, mostly by himself. So we get this scene of Tony Stark talking to Peter Parker, and there was an international trailer released as well that shows more of that scene. And at first he's talking about the suit, how he gets to keep the suit, and Tony Stark's like, well, it doesn't fit me, so keep it. And there's more talk about him being not able to be an Avenger right now, and how there's trials. And this, I feel, is Tony Stark trying to keep his relationship with Spider-Man or with Peter Parker under wraps, so the government doesn't know, because he's still he's signed the Sokovia Accords, so he's under the jurisdiction of the government, basically telling him what he can and can't do. So I think he's trying to keep Peter Parker, Spider-Man, out of that, so he doesn't have to worry about all those politics. And this is that handling that issue, because, you know, he's like, no, you're not an Avenger. And I have this feeling that they're going to play off the "with great power comes great responsibility" line in that scene. I hope they don't just say it blatantly outright, but I have a feeling that they're going to do kind of a parody off of it. Like, he's going to start saying something like "with great power," and he's going to say something totally ludicrous. Like, he's going to say something that Tony Stark would say, like, "with great power comes more women," or something. I don't know, but I think they're going to have fun with it. I also love the part where he reaches, he leans in, and Peter Parker thinks he's going in for a hug, and Tony's like, and this is not a hug, I'm actually just getting the door for you. That was such a great scene, and I want more interaction between those characters. So we get more shots of the high school life of Peter Parker. I'm nervous that there's going to be too much of the movie dedicated to that, but it is Marvel, and they can pull it off. I have faith in them to do that. Throughout these scenes, we get the voiceover of Tony Stark basically saying, "You're not an Avenger. You're not ready yet. I know you want to save the world, but leave that to the professionals kind of thing. So this is kind of a story of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, coming into his own, proving that he deserves a place on the Avengers roster. So we get this shot of Peter Parker in the Spider-Man outfit, crawling on the ceiling of what we assume is his room, or maybe his friend's room. His friend's name is Ned Leeds. From what I know, he eventually assumes the role of the Hobgoblin. So that's pretty interesting. He already knows who Spider-Man is, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So that's going to be interesting to see in future movies, because I think they're going to bring in Hobgoblin. So in the international version, we get a lot more shots, a lot more story development for Michael Keaton's character, who we know is the Vulture. He looks really messed up in the face, like he got a little burnt or something. And he's basically saying, the world is changing, boys. We need to change too. So in this scene, we get two reveals, I guess. One, we see that his suit is very easy to take off. Unfortunately easy. All he does is press the new Spider-Man logo, which is cool, by the way. I love the new Spider-Man logo. But it just kind of slides off of him. And looks like Tom Holland's been actually lifting. He does lift. So he's climbing up the Washington Monument. So what I'm liking about this is it shows that Spider-Man is not just in New York. He's in Washington, D.C. He's traveling. I think he's chasing after the Vulture, hopefully. Or he's just kind of going along with Tony Stark. Who knows? But we also get this shot of him kind of breaking through this window. It doesn't look very graceful, especially for Spider-Man. I don't know if he got thrown in there, if he swung in there, or what. And enter the Vulture. This shot of him coming down is pretty epic looking. And I kind of hope that's how we're introduced to his character, and we don't get any of the backstory right up front, That would be different for Marvel, I think. So we get Peter Parker talking to his friend about he's sick of being treated like a kid. We obviously assume that he's talking about Tony Stark, and that he's ready to become an Avenger, and Tony Stark's not letting him. So after that, we get the shot that we were promised in the trailer teaser. Still kind of annoying to me that we're getting previews for previews, but whatever. He's got the wings, the web wings. That's kind of cool. What I didn't like in the trailer teaser was the vlog style of Peter Parker. He's kind of shooting a vlog of himself in this fancy hotel room or something, and Happy comes in, played by Jon Favreau. He's like, "What are you doing? Didn't you see the case?" And he's like, "What case?" And he's like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever." Well, I like watching vlogs sometimes, certain vlogs. They can be interesting, but it would be interesting to see a vlog from Tom Holland about being on the set of Spider-Man Homecoming. But what I'm not interested in is seeing a Peter Parker vlog. Something that is completely scripted and acted and not organic and natural. It doesn't seem right to me. So we get this shot of this guy shooting this gun. I don't know what kind of technology it is. Maybe it's something left over by the Chitauri or something from the first Avengers. Who knows? But we see Donald Glover's character in the background here. His character, to my knowledge, and on IMDb, his character doesn't have a name. There are talks of him being Miles Morales, who eventually takes over the mantle for Spider-Man. That would be very interesting, and I would actually be very happy if they did that. Because as much as I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, it'd be great to have them pass the title on to somebody else eventually. Not yet, obviously. Maybe not for another 2 or 3 movies. But because Spider-Man's got to be in Avengers Infinity War. He's got to have 1 or 2 more movies of his own. And then by that point, I think they can pass it on. So in this scene of him being on the bus and being thrown from it into another bus, he's got his old costume on, his old outfit. So this is, in my opinion, taking place before the events of Captain America Civil War, because he's got like his hoodie on and his gloves, and it's homemade costume. And that'll be cool. I want to see what takes place before Civil War. And it looks like they're going to give it to us. I don't know if Uncle Ben is actually existing in this universe. Does he die? Because that was always kind of the driving force of Peter Parker to really become Spider-Man. At least it was in the last 2 iterations of Spider-Man. So I don't know if they're going to go that route or what, but Tony Stark has kind of taken over that role. So it's unclear to me what this technology is. We see the bank robbers with this technology. In the international version, we see this guy punch the bus with this technology. And now we see Vulture shooting a beam out, and it looks like he might be in that ship, shoots it out, and destroys the ship. I don't know where this technology is coming from, but it's interesting. It's purple, which at first made me think of the Power Infinity Stone from Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's very unlikely because it's on Xandar. So I don't think that's gonna work. The last shot before the title reveal is this shot of this boat just kind of splitting apart, or it's a ferry, I think. But Spider-Man, he's thrown out a lot of webbing, trying to keep it from falling apart. It reminds me of the scene in Civil War where Captain America is trying to keep the helicopter from flying away, and Bucky's, trying to get away, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll just give in. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm hoping that this scene involves Iron Man somehow, because after the title reveal, which was pretty cool, we get the money shot, and it's definitely a money shot. It's awesome. Spider-Man and Iron Man teaming up, just kind of cruising through the city. Man, that's going to be awesome. What I'm always confused at is, where do Spider-Man's webs connect? Because from what I can see, none of these buildings around seem tall enough for his web to be that high and for him to swing that long on one web. So that's the trailer, guys. There wasn't that much to talk about. Kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Mummy trailer, they really focused on just a couple scenes in particular. And that took up a lot of time, a lot of runtime for the trailer. But there was some good reveals. I like the amount of villain shots that we got. However, I have a theory that the Vulture, like a lot of other Marvel villains, is going to be a little disappointing, simply because he's not going to be the big bad guy. He's just the face that you see for a while. Like in Doctor Strange with Caecilius, Mads Mikkelsen's character. He's not really the big baddie. Dormammu is. And once Doctor Strange takes on Dormammu, it's like, okay, it's over. Caecilius disappears. Same with Iron Man 3. You think the Mandarin is Ben Kingsley. It's not. It's Guy Pearce. They do a lot of that type of thing. And I really hope they don't do that with this movie, but the fact that at the end of the trailer we see Spider-Man and Iron Man teaming up makes me think that there's a bigger picture going on here, that the Vulture isn't the big bad guy. But we'll have to wait and see. This movie comes out in July. I'm super pumped for this. I've always been a fan of the Spider-Man movies. Even the bad ones, like Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were still pretty fun movies. They weren't good, but they were fun. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And like this video, share it, and subscribe for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.